Let's start with Liam Payne's girlfriend, Kate Cassidy, because Kate's given her first interview since he died in Argentina, of course, as we know, tragically last October. Talking to The Sun, she said she wasn't to blame for Liam's death, which is a great shame that she's had to actually even say that. People were blaming her because they said that she shouldn't have left him alone and all of that. Well, Ross joins me now from Los Angeles. A very heartfelt interview. You can tell, you know, she's obviously, of course, still grieving and felt she had to almost justify herself.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that there, Lorraine. Yeah, an exclusive interview with Clemmy Moody in The Sun. They first met back in 2022 when Kate was a waitress in South Carolina and she served Liam. Said it was all very instant. But of course, you know, people have said, why did she leave Argentina and leave him alone then? And that's one of the things she addressed in the interview.
It's interesting, isn't it, Ross, how she heard about how he had died?
Yeah, she first heard about it through a friend, and you know she'd been talking as well about how they had plans to get married within the year as well. I mean, it's such a devastating time for everyone involved. And she was saying that she heard about Liam's death from a friend, and of course, understandably, at first she just absolutely couldn't believe the news at all.
It's just so sad, Ross, isn't it? It's absolutely tragic, and I don't know how you cope with that, because it's not just you know, it's not just Kate that's grieving there. I mean, so many people are just so desperately sad that happened. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, you know, she believes, like I think everyone does now, that it was just a horrible, tragic accident. Obviously, she couldn't comment on the 3 people at the moment who are facing manslaughter with regards to his death. But again, as you said, and it opens all those wounds again. And, you know, you think of Kate, you think of, obviously, Liam's family, you think of his friends, and you think of the fans too. And, of course, when and if it actually all does come to this court case, etc., the wounds get opened again. So it's so sad.
It is desperately sad. Ross, thank you. Thank you for the moment. Good to talk to you. And someone else talking very openly this morning is Davina McCall. Now, she talked to Stephen Bartlett on the podcast Beginning Again, sharing new details about her brain tumour diagnosis last year. Well, ITV entertainment reporter Rishi Davda joins me now alongside Dr Hilary. She has always, and this is, I think that's why everybody likes Davina, because she's an open book. And it's great she's talking about this, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the things people love about Davina.
Yeah.
She's open, she's candid, she is vulnerable when she needs to be, and people really kind of gravitate towards her because of that. And this is the Begin Again podcast, which is her podcast, but Stephen Bartlett takes on hosting duty so that Davina can tell her story. It was filmed about 8 weeks after her operation, so a few weeks ago, and she's very sincere, but also classically Davina in a few humorous moments.
Of course.
Speaking about how she named her cyst Jeffrey.
Jeffrey?
Because she needed to name it something, and she didn't personally have any friends called Jeffrey, so it felt like a good name.
OK.
They had a birthday party for Jeffrey, where her husband or her partner Michael played the piano. And there were some speeches as well, which sounds peculiar, but if you're going to go through something like this, it feels like she was the person who said, no, we're going to go through this in a positive way. I'm going to beat this. But there were some moments where she found it really difficult when they said there is a possibility that, you know, it's a very serious surgery. She had to get her affairs in order, update her will, leave wishes for her children that was put inside the will. And going through that is an incredibly difficult thing to have to do. But you know, Davina being Davina has come away from this saying, it's just made me want to push forward in the future, do more, think positively, and never take no for an answer. She spoke about wanting to make a bucket list. Something she did with her sister, but unfortunately they couldn't complete it. Her sister passed away from cancer in 2012. Just said, if you want to do something, go and do it. But one of the things I loved the most is she said this was a really cathartic experience. And she said, I hope you get something from this, referring to the podcast. But if you don't, I don't care, because I got something from it.
Oh, I love that. That's really lovely. I do love that. It was so interesting, wasn't it, Hilary, that she talked about the fact that she was angry. You know, and I can understand that.
Yeah, it's a common reaction to a diagnosis as serious as this. I mean, it's a brain tumour. So she's angry because you've got lots of control. It's beyond your control, and you can't do anything about it, first of all. Also, you know, it's unfair. Why me? You know, that's the natural reaction. Why has this happened to me? And then, you know, it's an impact on your life, on your health, on your independence, on your future plans. And of course, the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. So she was also angry because people said, oh, it was only benign.
Yes.
But there is no such thing as a harmless benign tumour within the skull.
Right.
Because even if it's benign, not cancerous, it grows, it can compress brain tissue with very serious consequences sometimes. So the word benign is often misunderstood. It's not always harmless.
Yeah.
It may not be cancerous, but it's not always harmless.
Right, because that was really good that she said that,
absolutely,
though.
yeah.
Don't you think,
so
that she actually
raises
said
awareness.
That. It does.
And it educates. So she's done a great service to people by speaking out and being an open book.
Very, very much so. And the thing about it is, how she's always been a seize the day kind of woman. She's always been like, I don't take no for an answer. I love that. This will have zero effect on her career because she's a very, very successful woman, successful writer, apart from anything else, and successful TV presenter. And I just think that, anybody seeing what she's going through and how she's dealt with it, of course you would want to hire her for, so many things.
I think it gives you a view into her mindset that, as part of this podcast, she said, I think potentially in a couple of years, I might view this as a good thing that happened to me, sort of like a jump start to really pursuing what I want in life and being even more proactive with my health and encouraging others to do the same.
And perspective, certainly, doesn't it?
All of that sort of it does, Hilary. And and like I say, she will use that in such a positive way. And it really does help people, it does.
And I think it's very often easy when you're in the spotlight to actually not give too much away for fear of creating headlines or being misquoted or anything like that. And she's one of the few people in the media who says, no, I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to be very...
just very open about it.
Just very open about the whole thing. And also, even if there are quite grim situations or quite personal moments on my journey, I'm going to share them, whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through the video she puts out on Instagram so that everyone's aware of what's going on. And I think it's a really positive way of looking at things to say, this is my story, I'm going through this, and hopefully you can identify with it, show some empathy. So if you go through something similar or know someone who does, then you can treat it in the right way. And I think
everybody deals with it in their own way, and that's fine. You deal with it in your own way. I wouldn't be surprised if she does a documentary about it. I would have thought that was a given, of course.
It raises the interesting question of if you're given a diagnosis of something that's significant but might never cause any problems, but could, how do you make that decision? You're 3 in a million cases of colloid cyst within the ventricles of the brain. It might never do anything, but it might...
It could be a time bomb, as you said.
You need to do your research and find out what's the best route.
Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.